Have you ever been in a situation where the balance feels off? You're always the one reaching out, always the one sending the first text, while she remains silent as if waiting for rain in a desert. Days pass, and you're left wondering, is she even interested? Am I misreading everything? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, what if you could take a different approach, one rooted in self-respect and clarity? Today, we're breaking down how to handle this dynamic with confidence and composure. I'll guide you through actionable steps to shift the energy in your favor, all while weaving in timeless Stoic wisdom that can reshape not just how you see relationships, but how you navigate life itself. Let's get started. Step 1. Step back and evaluate. One of the hardest truths to accept is that someone's lack of effort doesn't necessarily reflect your value. It reflects their priorities. It's tempting to rationalize her silence with excuses like, maybe she's just busy, or she's not much of a texter. But here's where you need to lean into honesty. Ask yourself, am I over-investing? Stoicism reminds us to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. As Seneca wisely said, truth rarely pleases, it often shocks. If she's consistently not making an effort, the reality may be that she isn't as interested as you are. This truth might sting, but it also frees you to focus your energy where it will be valued. Let's say you've been talking to someone new. You're the first to text her every morning. You're the one suggesting plans. And when you're together, the vibe feels great. But once you're apart, days go by, and there's radio silence on her end. She doesn't check in. She doesn't initiate conversations. You feel like you're carrying the entire connection. It's easy to fall into the trap of overanalyzing her behavior. You might ask yourself, is she testing me? Is she shy? Or am I just not enough? Instead of getting stuck in this loop, take a step back and observe her actions. Relationships, even in their earliest stages, are about reciprocity. If she's not showing any effort, what does that say about her level of interest or emotional availability? Epictetus wisely said, "We are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them." Her lack of effort isn't inherently hurtful. It only becomes hurtful when you interpret it as a reflection of your value. Shift your perspective. This isn't about you being not enough. It's about her actions revealing her priorities. If she isn't prioritizing you, it's time to match her energy. Instead of texting her first, let her notice your absence, not as a tactic or a game, but as a statement of self-respect. When you pull back, you create space for her to step forward if she chooses to. If she doesn't, her inaction tells you everything you need to know. Silence is a tool, not a punishment. When you stop initiating, you send a clear message, not to her, but to yourself, that you deserve mutual effort and respect. If she values the connection, she'll notice the absence of your texts and reach out. If she doesn't, you've saved yourself from investing further in someone who wasn't truly invested in you. Every relationship, or lack thereof, is an opportunity for growth. Her lack of effort is a sign that it's time to shift your focus elsewhere. Remember, your worth isn't tied to someone else's effort or lack thereof. It's rooted in how much you respect yourself. When you stop chasing what isn't meant for you, you'll find something much more valuable: your own peace of mind. Step 2. Assess your expectations. The truth is, much of our frustration comes from unmet expectations. We anticipate her texting first as a sign of interest, as proof that we matter to her. When it doesn't happen, we interpret it as a reflection of our worth. But this mindset can trap you in a cycle of disappointment. Think about it this way. Are you overly focused on her texting habits? Let's flip the perspective. What if her way of showing interest isn't through initiating conversations, but through how she engages when you do. A meaningful relationship isn't built on a tally of who texts first. It's about consistency, effort, and how both of you contribute to the connection overall. Imagine this scenario. You've been talking to someone for a few weeks. Every time you text, she responds warmly, perhaps even enthusiastically, but she never initiates. You begin to question her interest and feel undervalued. Now, pause. What evidence do you have that she doesn't care? Is it possible that texting just isn't her love language? Or maybe she assumes you enjoy initiating. By shifting your focus from her behavior to her overall actions, how she speaks to you, how she treats you when you're together, you might find that her interest is clear in other ways. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You can't control whether she texts you first, but you can control how you interpret the situation and how you choose to respond. Conclusion: navigating relationships requires patience, self-respect, and a clear understanding of both your own needs and the dynamics at play. By following these steps, you can shift your perspective and take control of your own happiness. Remember, mutual effort, respect, and clear communication are key components of any strong connection. Trust yourself and don't settle for anything less than what you deserve. You interpret her behavior and, more importantly, how much you let it affect your peace of mind. Instead of spiraling into doubt or frustration, remind yourself, her actions are hers to own, my emotions are mine to master. By doing this, you take back your power. You become less reactive and more grounded, a quality that not only benefits you, but also makes you more attractive in the long run. Ask yourself, are you approaching this relationship with genuine curiosity and interest, or are you keeping score? A Stoic man doesn't seek validation from others. His sense of worth comes from within. Focus on being present, kind, and consistent, regardless of whether she texts first. When you prioritize your own peace and emotional security, you'll find that her texting habits carry less weight. If she's genuinely interested, your grounded demeanor will make her feel safe and respected. If she's not, you'll walk away without resentment because your happiness was never tied to her actions. Remember, your peace of mind should never depend on someone else's behavior. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength. By embracing this mindset, you shift from a place of neediness to one of quiet confidence, and that, more than any text, will make her notice you. What do you think about this perspective? Does it resonate with you, or have you experienced something similar in your relationships? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment sharing your take, or simply write, "My peace is my power." Your insights not only enrich the discussion, but also create a space where others can learn and grow alongside you. Let's keep the conversation going. Step 3. Don't take it personally. It's natural to personalize someone's behavior, especially when you care. Her lack of response can feel like a rejection of you as a person. But the Stoics remind us that external actions are rarely about us. People act based on their own inner worlds, shaped by experiences, challenges, and priorities that you may never fully see or understand. A lesser-known Stoic concept, sympathia, speaks to the interconnectedness of all things. Her silence isn't a deliberate attack on your worth. It's simply part of her journey. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, writes, "You have a role to play, as does she. Accept your place in the web of events." When you understand this, you can release the need to internalize her behavior as a reflection of you. Think of a time when you were distracted, perhaps overwhelmed by work, family issues, or personal struggles. Did you neglect a message or fail to check in with someone, not because you didn't care, but because your mental bandwidth was maxed out? Her silence could be rooted in something similar, or it could simply reflect a lack of alignment in priorities. For instance, you might be deeply invested in building a connection, but she may be uncertain about what she wants or preoccupied with other areas of her life. Recognizing this difference in priorities isn't about excusing her lack of effort. It's about acknowledging that it doesn't define your value. When you stop personalizing her actions, you free yourself from unnecessary emotional weight. Instead of overthinking why she hasn't texted, you can focus on what's within your control, your own peace of mind. This detachment isn't about indifference, it's about maintaining your balance and self-worth, regardless of external circumstances. Ironically, this sense of detachment can make you more attractive. When you're no longer chasing validation or overreacting to silence, you exude confidence and calm. People are drawn to those who respect themselves and don't seek approval from others, instead of wondering, "Why isn't she texting me?" Reframe the situation. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to better myself or bring joy to my day? Maybe it's focusing on your hobbies, hitting the gym, or spending quality time with friends. When you prioritize your own growth and happiness, her silence becomes less significant. Sympathia reminds us that we're all connected, yet each of us walks our own path. Her silence may not be ideal, but it's a part of her journey. Maybe she's figuring things out. Maybe she's not ready for the type of connection you're offering, or maybe she's simply not the right fit for you. Whatever the case, it's not personal. It's just life unfolding. When you understand this interconnectedness, you'll find peace in the uncertainty. You'll realize that her behavior is about her, not you, and that frees you from taking it to heart. Detach, focus on your own growth, and trust that the right connections will come naturally. Because when you stop chasing and start living authentically, you'll find that what's meant for you will align effortlessly. Step 4. Match her energy. Imagine this. You send a good morning text, no reply. By afternoon, you're itching to reach out again, so you send another message to check in. She responds briefly, maybe with a one-word answer or an emoji, but there's no effort to continue the conversation. Frustrated, you try again later, hoping for a different result, but nothing changes. What you're doing here, though well-intentioned, is trying to compensate for her lack of effort. You might think that sending another message shows you care, but in reality, it often comes across as needy or overbearing. Here's the irony. The more you chase, the less attractive you seem. Why? Because constant availability eliminates the excitement of connection. When there's no space for curiosity to grow, the dynamic becomes one-sided and uninspiring. If she's not putting in effort, the answer isn't to double down on yours. It's to pull back and match her energy. Think about it. When you're always available, you leave no room for her to wonder about you, miss your presence, or feel the desire to reach out. But when you create a little distance, you invite curiosity. This doesn't mean you're playing games. It means you're valuing your time and emotional energy. If she wants to connect, she'll take the opportunity when it's available. If she doesn't, her actions, or lack thereof, will reveal her level of interest. The Stoics valued temperance, the practice of moderation and balance in all things. When applied to relationships, this means resisting the urge to overcompensate and instead finding harmony in your actions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do nothing without purpose. Let it be done out of reason and virtue." Before sending that extra text or trying to fill the silence, ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or because I'm seeking a response to validate my worth? By matching her energy, you demonstrate self-respect and dignity. It shows that you're willing to meet someone halfway, but not chase after what isn't being offered freely. When you match her energy, you send a clear message, not just to her, but to yourself. You're communicating that your time and effort are valuable, and you're not willing to give them away freely to someone who doesn't reciprocate. This balance doesn't just foster healthier relationships, it also strengthens your own sense of self-worth. Over-texting can come across as desperate, but moderation conveys confidence and stability. People are naturally drawn to those who respect themselves. By practicing temperance, you exude an air of calm assurance that's inherently attractive. The Stoics remind us that moderation is key to a harmonious life. Apply this principle to your relationships, and you'll not only feel lighter and freer, but also become someone who commands respect and admiration effortlessly. Have you ever found yourself overcompensating in a situation like this? Or have you tried matching someone's energy to see what happens? Share your thoughts in the comments below, or simply leave this simple sentence: I choose balance over chasing. Your perspective could inspire someone else on their journey, so don't hesitate to share. Step 5. Focus on your own growth. When you're constantly focused on someone else, why they're not texting, what they're thinking, or how they feel, you give away your power. You place your emotional well-being in their hands, which only leads to frustration and insecurity. But here's a liberating truth. You can't control her actions, but you can control how you respond. And the best response: shift your focus to your own growth. As Seneca wisely said, the greatest power is self-mastery. When you prioritize self-improvement, you reclaim your power and create a life that's fulfilling, whether she's a part of it or not. Self-growth is about focusing on yourself and building a life you're proud of. You can hit the gym to boost your confidence and energy, or you can learn something new, whether it's a skill, a hobby, or a book that excites you. Spend time with people who genuinely care about you and pursue passions that make you feel alive and fulfilled. When you focus on your mental, emotional, and physical well-being, you create a fulfilling life that doesn't depend on anyone else. And this natural confidence is magnetic, drawing the right people into your life while keeping you grounded and happy. Imagine this. You've been waiting all day for her to text back, but your phone remains silent. Instead of staring at the screen or letting the silence eat away at you, you decide to hit the gym. While there, you push yourself to lift heavier, run faster, or try a new workout routine. Afterward, you feel accomplished, energized, and proud of yourself. Later that evening, instead of ruminating on her lack of response, you pick up a book or work on a personal project. Over time, this routine becomes your new normal. You're no longer dependent on her messages for a sense of fulfillment because your life is already rich and meaningful. And here's the irony. When you stop chasing her attention and start thriving on your own, she's far more likely to take notice. When your happiness doesn't depend on her actions, you attract the right energy and create a more authentic connection. Possibilities out there. When you focus all your energy on one person who isn't giving you the same in return, you create a sense of lack. You convince yourself that this one connection is the only one that matters, when in reality, there are countless opportunities for genuine connection waiting for you. By adopting an abundance mindset, you remind yourself that the world is full of people, experiences, and opportunities. Your happiness and fulfillment are not dependent on one person's actions or lack thereof. The Stoics emphasized the importance of seeing life's challenges through a lens of opportunity. When you focus on what you can control, your actions, mindset, and growth, you open yourself to a wealth of possibilities. Think about it. If you're stuck in the mindset of scarcity, every moment spent waiting for a text, obsessing over someone's behavior, or hoping they'll show more interest will drain you. But when you embrace the abundance of what life has to offer, you create space for new experiences, friendships, and potential connections to flourish. As you shift your focus away from this single relationship and invest in your own growth, You'll naturally attract people who align with your values and who are more likely to reciprocate the energy you give. This shift is freeing. It removes the pressure from any one person and gives you the space to truly explore connections that are meaningful. An abundance mindset isn't about being dismissive or callous. It's about understanding that you're worthy of the best that life has to offer. When you believe there's more than enough love, respect, and connection in the world, you stop chasing the wrong people and start aligning with those who genuinely value and appreciate you. This mindset change doesn't just impact romantic relationships, it extends to all areas of your life. It's about knowing that you are complete as you are and that you're not bound by the limitations of any one person's actions. Step 8. Let go of the outcome. One of the most liberating things you can do is to release attachment to the outcome of any connection. Whether you're texting back and forth, spending time together, or trying to figure out whether someone is genuinely interested, it's easy to become fixated on the idea of how things should unfold. But attachment to a specific outcome often leads to stress, anxiety, and frustration. The Stoics teach us that we should focus on what's within our control and let go of what's beyond it. The outcome of a relationship or a conversation isn't something you can force. Instead, focus on being present in the moment, doing your best, and letting things unfold naturally. When you release the need for things to turn out in a certain way, you free yourself from the pressure and anxiety of trying to make something happen. You can approach life and relationships with more peace and clarity. By letting go of the outcome, you create space for the relationship to develop organically or to fade naturally if it's not meant to be. This doesn't mean being indifferent or not caring. It means having the wisdom to recognize that you are enough, regardless of what happens with this person. You can be confident in knowing that you'll thrive, regardless of whether this connection deepens or fades. And that's a powerful place to be. Have you ever found freedom in letting go of an outcome? Have you experienced the peace that comes from releasing the need to control how things turn out? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Final thoughts: embrace Stoic wisdom. Throughout this journey, we've touched on some key Stoic principles: self-respect, emotional resilience, temperance, and honest communication. Each step you take towards living in alignment with these principles will not only improve your relationships, but will also deepen your connection with yourself. When you stop seeking validation and start valuing your own worth, you create the space for healthier, more fulfilling connections. Whether with romantic partners, friends, or anyone else in your life, true peace comes from within. By practicing these principles consistently, you'll find that you not only handle the dynamics of any relationship with more confidence and composure, but you also create the life you truly want, one based on authenticity, growth, and mutual respect. Let go of the need to chase. Embrace your own growth and well-being. Be grounded, present, and open to the abundance of life that awaits you. Your boundaries is an act of self-love, and you don't need to justify or defend your standards to anyone. The key is to communicate your needs calmly and respectfully, without resorting to emotional manipulation or playing games. Boundaries are essential because they act as a clear signal of what you are willing to tolerate. They give both you and the other person the freedom to choose whether to meet those expectations without pressure or resentment. In this way, boundaries act as a tool for clarity and self-respect, rather than a means of controlling someone's actions. When you're grounded in your values and boundaries, you're not dependent on others' actions to validate your worth. This is how you begin to strengthen your emotional resilience and gain the peace of mind that allows you to attract healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Instead of seeking someone's approval or compromising on what you need, boundaries empower you to create the space for the right connections to unfold. You teach others how to treat you by honoring your own standards and never settling for less than you deserve. How to set healthy boundaries. Identify your needs. Reflect on what you truly need in a relationship, whether it's consistency, respect, communication, or emotional availability. Be clear and direct. When communicating your boundaries, be straightforward and clear about what you expect. There's no need to apologize for wanting respect and balance in a relationship. Use I statements. Frame your boundaries from a place of ownership, not blame. Instead of saying, "You never make time for me," say, "I need quality time to feel valued in a relationship." Stay calm and non-demanding. Boundaries should never be a threat. They're simply expressions of your needs and desires. Calmly stating your boundaries shows strength and self-awareness. Be prepared to walk away. If someone isn't willing to meet your boundaries, you have the choice to step away. Boundaries are a way of protecting yourself, not controlling others. If someone isn't aligned with your needs, it's a sign to refocus your energy elsewhere. Don't feel guilty. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's self-respect. If someone truly values you, they'll respect your boundaries. If not, that's their choice. But it's also your choice to preserve your peace. Why boundaries aren't ultimatums? An ultimatum forces someone into a corner where they act out of fear or obligation instead of genuine desire. The difference between a boundary and an ultimatum is the attitude behind the communication. A boundary is a calm and firm statement of your needs. An ultimatum is a high-pressure tactic meant to manipulate behavior. For example, boundary. I value mutual effort in relationships, and I need that consistency to feel respected. If that's not something you're able to offer, I understand, but I'll need to step back. Ultimatum. If you don't start texting me more, I'm done. In the first example, you're expressing your values and calmly stating what you need to feel respected. In the second, the tone is rooted in frustration and fear, and it pressures the other person to change. True boundaries help both parties understand what's expected, while ultimatums often lead to resentment and manipulative cycles that only breed more frustration. Step 9. Trust the process and let go. Once you've communicated your boundaries, trust the process. Trust that by living in alignment with your values, the right connections will eventually come. Whether it's with her or someone else, the path forward will become clearer as you let go of attachment and embrace the freedom of trusting that your growth and fulfillment are not dependent on anyone else's actions. By focusing on self-love, creating boundaries, and embracing an abundance mindset, you unlock your true potential, both in relationships and in your own personal journey. It's about finding balance, respecting your own needs, and trusting that life will unfold in the best way possible, even if it's not exactly how you imagined. The Stoics believed in the power of accepting life as it is, not as we wish it to be. So trust the flow of life, embrace your journey, and know that every experience, every person, and every outcome plays a role in shaping you into the person you are meant to be. An act of justice to yourself. As Marcus Aurelius put it, it is not fitting to value what is not in your power. You cannot control another person's feelings or actions, but you can control how you respond to them. By walking away, you're taking back your power and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. Why walking away isn't failure. Walking away isn't about abandoning hope or giving up on someone. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of reciprocal effort, respect, and love. When someone isn't able or willing to meet you halfway, staying in that situation only undermines your self-worth. You're not choosing to leave because the connection didn't matter, but because your own peace and principles matter more. Stoicism teaches that we should not be overly attached to outcomes, and this applies to relationships as well. The outcome, whether she responds, whether things progress, is not yours to control. What you can control is how much effort you put into a relationship and how much you are willing to tolerate. If her actions aren't aligning with your standards, the most stoic and self-respecting choice is to walk away and free yourself from a one-sided dynamic. How to walk away with strength. Acknowledge your worth. Remind yourself that your value isn't contingent on someone's actions or approval. You deserve someone who shares your values and is equally invested in the relationship. Don't over-explain. You don't need to give a long explanation or justify your decision. Simply stating that you need more than what is being offered can be enough. For example, I need a relationship where the effort is mutual. Leave with grace. If you choose to walk away, do so with composure. Avoid drama or animosity. It's not about punishing the other person. It's about preserving your peace and moving forward. Trust the process. Letting go of something that isn't serving you opens the door for better opportunities. Trust that the right person will align with your energy and that the time you spent on a one-sided connection wasn't wasted but necessary for your growth. Embrace growth. Every experience, including the painful ones, teaches us valuable lessons. When you walk away, you're making room for personal development and healthier future connections. The freedom of letting go. When you finally let go of the outcome, it's liberating. You stop measuring your worth based on someone else's actions, and that creates space for you to cultivate the life and relationships that align with who you are and what you value. In the end, walking away is not about rejecting the person. It's about rejecting the dynamic that doesn't honor you. It's about self-respect and protecting your peace. In time, you'll realize that the real strength is in knowing when to hold on and when to let go. This is such a powerful reminder of how we can take control of our own value and create space for more meaningful connections. The message resonates deeply with the idea of honoring your self-worth and taking action when you recognize that a relationship isn't aligned with your principles. Key points that stand out. Recognizing patterns. It's vital to identify whether someone's lack of effort is a one-off or a recurring issue. Everyone has off days, but if you're constantly the one initiating and putting in more effort, it's time to ask yourself whether this dynamic is truly balanced. Self-respect and boundaries. Walking away from a one-sided relationship isn't a punishment. It's an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that you value your time, energy, and emotions enough not to keep chasing after someone who isn't meeting you halfway. This helps you reclaim your power. Mutual connections. True connections are built on mutual effort. They don't require you to convince someone of your worth. As the video wisely references, Marcus Aurelius' quote, "What stands in the way becomes the way," reminds us that obstacles like someone's lack of effort often guide us toward a better path. Clarity and communication. If you find yourself in a situation where the effort is unbalanced, it's important to communicate that clearly and kindly. By doing so, you show that you value honesty and transparency without demanding change from the other person, just acknowledging where the connection stands. Creating space for the right connections. Walking away isn't closing a door, it's opening the door for relationships that align with your values. The time and energy once spent on a one-sided relationship can be redirected toward people who truly value you. Confidence and attraction. This journey of walking away and prioritizing your own peace isn't just about removing yourself from unbalanced relationships. It's about cultivating confidence and a magnetic energy that will draw the right people toward you, people who recognize your worth without you having to prove it. Final reflection. In a world where we're often conditioned to chase validation and approval, the act of walking away from something that doesn't serve you becomes one of the most empowering and stoic practices. It teaches you that your peace and self-respect are not negotiable, and by sticking to this principle, you not only create space for better connections, but also deepen your own sense of self-worth. Your turn to reflect. What's one step you can take today to reclaim your power in a relationship or situation where you might have been chasing or overgiving? How can you set clear boundaries and protect your energy while still remaining open to meaningful connections? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay true to yourself, prioritize your peace, and remember, life is a continuous journey of growth and self-mastery. Keep moving forward,